Hi, it's Jess again. I thought I'd do a profile or just maybe a combo video on a deck that I recently, I think yesterday, won a regional with. I won an old Switch with the plant deck feat Cactus Bouncer inside. So whenever I went first side, I could just lock them out, bounties beam them, and cash, even like the problem runic for higher matchups. No issue post side. It was just some Cactus Bouncer. So I thought I'd do a combo video, and I'll briefly go over the deck list, just to kind of, the main deck and extra deck are the same as London, but the side's slightly different. So I thought I'd just do a bit of a refresher. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to very quickly go to the roller. So I won't do much explanation, this is just kind of the same as normal for the main deck. So it's 3 Loci, Twin, 3 Petal, 3 Princess, 2 Mudan, 1 Snowdrop, 1 Primula. Yeah. All necessary combos. Again, please only play one of this. Lone Fire. It's even more mandatory now with the Cactus Bouncer combo. You use this in normal summon. Then 2 Laboria, Regulus, and still remaining 3 Jawland Lockbird. Especially going into like next format, this is even more important. So then 3 Concon, 3 Glamour, 3 Die. That's just your engine stuff, as well as 2 Sewing, and 1 Discolosseum. Then we've got 3 Tactics, Call By, and 1 for 1. For spell cards, we've got 3 Evenly Matched, 3 Imperm, and the 1 Sheet to make it 45 cards. So extra deck again is the same as before. 3 Dryas, 2 Healer, 1 Thresher, 2 Jasmine, 1 Dance Fury. This actually becomes even more important with Cactus Bouncer because post side sometimes you just need it. The main way to Cactus Bouncer, if you have already used your normal summon, let's say normal summon Loci, if you open Die, it's significantly easier. I'm not actually going to go through any of the combos with opening Die, because if you open Die, you just do your full Loci combo, and then just with the last Jasmine search, you search out the Cactus Bouncer and just normal summon it. But when you do normal summon, start your combo, in some lines you'll end up making this. Use it to make 4, make a Strenna add back Lone Fire, then special summon the Lone Fire with Snowdrop, then tribute Lone Fire, summon Jasmine from deck, and Jasmine lets you give you an additional normal summon when you have high life points. Then Bengalancer, Melius, yeah, and double Strenna, again even more important than before, double XYZ. Okay, so I guess like the important part, but the actual changes to this list, we've got 1 Roman Jasmine. So when you have high life points, this guy lets you normal summon, like 1 additional time. Also, when you gain life points while it's on the field, you can get to draw 1 card. This is actually very, very relevant. It means if you open it, like with a die example, you end up just drawing a card from the regular combo. And just like in relevant random situations, this just lets you draw 3 cards. So yeah, this is actually really good. And then Cactus Bouncer, it's, especially now with the format being a bit, like having like post-London format, things like runic variants have become a lot stronger and just like a lot more represented. And being able to normal summon, like especially like the higher variants, and being able to normal summon this when they're on like low hand traps, you have the Regulus and Hyper normally to protect this from spells, so you're pretty safe. And it's just an even better win button. Yeah. Then there is 2 Dock Rollers, 3 Tactics, Duster Ageki, 3 Ash Blossom, Herald of the Abyss again for Lance and Kashtira. And then the last two plants, I'm still playing the Rose Whip. So the reason I still play the Rose Whip is because in some matchups, the Rose Whip's just still equally as valuable. Also, in some matchups, you actually end up going for both of these. With certain hands, there's some 2-card combos if you open die, where you're able to go for both of these with the Regulus, and Dark Roller's usage is really, really low right now, so, or at least it appears to be pretty low, and even if they Dark Roller, you still have Strenna, Princess, Sheet, and Shoot's cost from Concord, so you still have 4 interrupts through Dark Roller, so it's fine. Like things like Labyrinth and all that kind of thing, I'd rather have Rose Whip. And again, same kind of plant, it's required just for popping random things. So, in terms of combos for this, so your combos are going to end up starting at the end of the combo, and we're going to be using the right. So for the example, I'll go with. There's a lot of variations of this, and it will take me probably an hour-long video to go through every single variation of this. So if we just start with a very basic one, let's say you can do this with just Seed. Yeah, the board with just Seed is actually pretty decent. But I think I want to go with Seed plus a Rikka monster. Let's say Mudan, for example. Just give you an example of a board that you'll end up with, even if they have... The only out to this board will be Dark Roller, or let's say double evenly, and then you'll still have multiple interrupts through that. So we'll start with these two then. So it's Summon Seed, Dryas Searches, and Rupture Sowing. So you do the exact same start as you would normally do, just with like any combo. You're still going to go for the your regular line. Start with this setup, gain 300 life points, so now you're on high life points. So if you have Jasmine, you're drawing Jasmine. You would get like if you had die and you also Jasmine, you get a draw here. Generally, I might stay away from that though, just because I don't want to start to nib. Because this hand can play through nib. If you have like another plant, Mudan, you can play through nib quite easily. Then make 2. And then you Sealer effect, target Dryas, gain another 300. Effect Jasmine. So gaining life and time is like also really valuable. I won a game at this regional because my opponent used end phase effect of Mudan, the runic monster, to gain life points, gain 1,000, and I was able to gain significantly more with healer in time because I was able to get to my main phase. Activate the warrior, equip generally anything. I just equip like Dryas here, then send the Dryas. Again, this is quite a standard setup, but right now this is the optimal setup regardless. And then use Disc him. Let's put it in the middle so you can see it. Side off screen. And search out Regulus. Use Jasmine. Tripping the healer. Some grave. Grab your Lone Fire. So Lone Fire is especially important here because you're going to end up adding back the Lone Fire, which you do in quite a few combo routes. And then Lone Fire is tribute the Lily Warrior, some Petal, sorry, not Petal, Regulus first. Lily Warrior, and now you can use Petal because Petal locks you into plants, so you need also the Regulus first. And here I'm just going to grab Snowdrop the Rikka Berry. Generally, it doesn't really matter which Rikka you open, you're just going to be adding another Rikka monster. If you have Glamour or Sheet or something, it's fine. If you have Concon, for example, you're doing, or Glamour or Sheet, you're doing basically the same combo, but you're going to be ending on a Sheet instead of another interrupt, so... And then, taking these off. Again, this is the exact same setup combo as your regular combo right now. There is a Disciples video by Tom Rose on their channel. If you want to see regular combo, however, if you want me to go through it and go through it in more detail, quite happy to. And then You set your twin. Banish Jasmine for extra monster zone. Reborn back the healer. Healer target Dryas. Gain life, gain another 300, so you're on 8-9 now. Effect Jasmine. Being on high life points also like really chips people up, I found. At least from my experience. So here we are gonna now add the Cactus Bouncer. So here we've got 3 in hand. We've got the 3 in hand plus your 3 unknown cards, so you should have 6 in hand right now. Because we don't really discard tools in the stack, so then use the Moodon, tributing healer, let's say, and we'll grab the Concon, and then replace field spell, activate the Concon. Concon set Glamour. So another thing to note with Glamour is that Glamour can also search Cactus Bouncer, search Princess or Primula plus Cactus Bouncer. So if you haven't used your normal summon or you need like your second Jasmine search doesn't resolve, you can always use Glamour to search the Bouncer and then get the additional. And you can get the additional normal summon or have your normal summon left. You can just normal summon the Cactus Bouncer. And then anyway, use Glamour. Choose off the Dryas. And now add the Princess Primula. Special the Primula. Special the Princess. Overlay them. The Strenna. Use the Strenna. And here we're going to add back the Lone Fire, which I think is pretty important. It's engraved now. So now depending on the last cards in hand, you can do a couple of things. If you have an extra spell you can activate, you can tribute the Strenna off. Then you get the Hyper. Then you'll be able to summon the Hyperton. If you want to play around Dark Roll a bit more, you keep the Strenna to tribute it with this. In this instance, I'm going to show the example of when tribute off the Strenna, so you get to the extra Hyperton. Which means link these off. Go for Melius, or on Loci, and then link off Melius and Loci. With the Benglancer. You set your Snowdrop. Actually, I think the easiest way to do this is actually tributing off the Benglancer here. Just for example. And summon this. Now use this, we'll tribute it off the Strenna this time. Which is a bit weird, but it works. And summon the Jasmine. Cheryl Resolve. Swing the Hypertron. This is where you're now using a spell or anything else just to get the spell equipped. Then use this, call 8. And unfortunately you have to use the extra monster zone here, but it's fine. Swing Teardrop. Then you spec Benglancer here to reborn it. Banish a link rating of 4, summon it back. And then we now have the additional normal summon, so we can now normal summon our Cactus Bouncer. Hypertron can equip off using the effect of Benglancer in Graveyard, equip monster, or you can just, if you have a spell, equip that. But now you've got a massive board, and yeah, especially if you know that they're not going to be playing things like Dark Roll, if they're playing, let's say, a Hand Trap Sprite variant, or they're playing a Runic variant that doesn't really play hand traps, this board is an FTK. Especially you can get the spell negate through using an additional spell. For example, if you have a Concon to replace, if you started with a die, and then you can save the Glamour and Concon till later on in the combo, so after you summoned the Hypertron. There's lots of ways you can do this. In the regular combo, another thing you can do is, let me just clear this up a little bit. In a combo with just Loci, you're still ending on, I won't go through the full combo because it'll be a pretty long video, but I can always do a full combo video, just let me know if that's what some people would want. You'll end up going with Benglancer in extra deck, and you won't have the Teardrop. You'll still have a pretty full board though. Generally, depending on other cards, your board will look like this. or even without this, you may end up having... This is the end board I quite commonly end on with just Loci. Normally in attack position, but doesn't really matter. Generally, with these kind of boards, you either need one or the other of these, so you can just, if you want to play conservatively, you can save your resources because if they only have one summon, you only need one removal for the normal summon, which could potentially out this, and there aren't many of those. The only thing that's scary is they can go Birth, then normal summon Ephemera, but you could just choose it or bounce it, and they can't special summon anyway. And the reason Cactus Bouncer is so good is because when you end on Concon, in your follow-up, you can quite simply go Titan of Concon, set Glamour from deck, Glamour Tribute Cactus Bouncer, and then you can just full combo again, and yeah, full combo again and just kill them. If you don't already have enough damage on board, I pretty consistently have around 9,000 to 10,000 damage on board with the full combo, so that's never normally an issue for me personally. Anyway, that's kind of how to use Cactus Bouncer. So that's the deck. I think Cactus Bouncer is a really neat addition to the deck that allows you much more efficiently to be able to beat decks that you could maybe have a difficult time with breaking their board, especially with things like Lava Golem, or maybe Kurokara, but Kurokara doesn't really affect this deck, so with that style of card. Yeah, I've been given a few requests for coaching recently, so I thought I've done quite a lot of coaching in the past. So I thought I'd try and apply for Meta 5 and just see what happens. So if anyone would be willing to vouch for me, I've put a link in the description for that. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, or if more combos are wanted, or just test hands, that kind of thing, feel free to let me know in the comments, and yeah, have a great day.